every single St. Patrick's Day, I wake up and a leprechaun has broken into my fridge and turned my milk green. Or maybe that was Dad. In addition to that, millions of my fellow Americans who are not Catholic and not Irish use this day as the largest act of cultural appropriation known to man to have a mid-March parade and drink their favorite Irish beer. In moderation, I hope. But we don't mind the cultural appropriation. Actually, it was Irish Americans who promoted the widespread celebration of St. Patrick's Day. You see, 150 years ago in America, Irish people were badly persecuted. Irish Catholic churches would regularly be vandalized or burned to the ground, and no Irish need apply signs could be seen in store windows everywhere. So Irish people promoted the celebration of St. Patrick's Day to fight prejudice against the Irish. So, if we see a little Italian child with their face painted green, it warms our Irish hearts. But before you begin your revelry this St. Patrick's Day, I want to share 5 amazing facts about the real-life Saint Patrick and what his life has to do with yours. 1. St. Patrick, as we all know, is the patron saint of the great nation of Nigeria, which is also one of the only countries outside of Ireland to have its own Guinness factory. Yes, they can thank Irish Catholic missionaries for that blessing. Also, St. Patrick's the patron saint of Ireland. 2. Don't tell your Irish friends this, but St. Patrick is actually from Britain. He was born in 4th century Britain when it was under Roman occupation to a highly Romanized family. But don't worry, before he died, I am sure that he identified as an Irishman. 3. Patrick was a slave, and he's one of the first writers in human history to unequivocally condemn all forms of slavery. See, Patrick had a happy upbringing, his dad was a deacon, his family was stable and respected, but Irish raiders came and stole him out of his village and forced him into slavery as a shepherd. It was during that time, out in the cold, sleet, rain, and total isolation, missing his family and being worked to death, that he found God. He wrote in his confessions that he prayed constantly, and through that constant prayer, came into a relationship with God. Duh, amazing how simple this is and how beautifully it works every time. He met what he called the Anam Cara, which is the friend of the soul, and he knew that God was with him, and that no matter what he was going through, he was loved and cared for. Oh, sorry. 4, St. Patrick was often spoken to by God through his dreams. It was in a dream that St. Patrick learned of a ship that was to be his escape from slavery. He ran to exactly where the dream showed him the ship was and got home to his family. It was also through a dream that God called St. Patrick back to Ireland as a missionary. You see, he saw this man with a letter from the Irish people that said, "Holy boy, come back and walk among us once more." He said it pierced him to the heart. Wow, for all the suffering he endured there, he loved the Irish people. He grieved with his family, they said goodbye, they never saw him again. He became a bishop and went back, and the rest is Irish history as we know it. The Christian faith, symbolized by the cross, replaced the Druid faith, symbolized by the circle behind the Celtic cross, which worshipped the sun god and sacrificed human beings to their sun god. St. Patrick's work gave birth to a new civilization of love and human respect in Ireland. And 5, St. Patrick struggled deeply with feeling stupid and inadequate. You see, because he was a slave, he didn't have a great education. So he wrote only 2 letters, and in one of those, he said he didn't write because he was afraid that his Latin was so rustic and rudimentary, it would be mocked. There wasn't a whole lot of high philosophy in what he wrote, but it was beautiful, humble, and packed with scripture. You see, he knew the one thing, or rather one person, that really matters. You ever feel inadequate? God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. So what's all this have to do with you? Think of the qualities that St. Patrick had that made him a world changer. He was fearless. He lived in constant threat of martyrdom, but he never stopped. He was tireless through all his work as a missionary to Ireland. He loved the Irish people. He knew Irish culture. All those qualities he had them because of the worst experience of his life. What in the moment looked like he was being totally abandoned by God. He was kidnapped from a loving family and made a slave. We tend to look at our hard times as our weaknesses, the things that break us down. When we give those times to God and put them in his hands, and remember the Anam Cara is with you, maybe it's those times that God is using to turn you into a blessing to the world. Be sure to hit subscribe and leave lots of comments because it helps the algorithms. And special thanks to my buddy Eddie Cotter from DeadTheologiansociety.com with this one.